Greetings, club members, and welcome to the Minnesota Mineral Club's training and information session for our 2021 annual Rock, Mineral, and Gem Show. My name is Ashley Bedard, and I currently serve as the program director for the club, and I'm also a show committee member. Today, I will be going over some volunteer details with you. Here is our agenda for today. First, I will go over the perks of volunteering. Then I will share the facility maps, volunteering position descriptions and timeline, and some basic information and logistics, and finally a quick wrap up. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you. Our show's success depends on you, our volunteers, and we are grateful to have you involved, so thank you. All show volunteers will receive a souvenir name badge and lanyard, an MMC embroidered patch, and an MMC lapel pin. This year we'll also have 3 volunteer-only drawings. Every shift you work gets you an entry into the drawing to win one of these great prizes. We have 3 great volunteer prizes. We have a large 3 to 4 pound bismuth display piece. We have a brand new MindLab Pro Find 20 pinpointing metal detector. And we have some amazing Thompsonite display pieces. You can increase your chances of winning by signing up for more than one shift. The drawing will be held during our first in-person meeting on October 16th, and you do not need to be present to win. So let's take a look at our new venue. Here's the layout of the interior of the dairy building, and we will have a large poster of the layout located at the volunteer check-in table. We have 26 indoor vendors, as well as 2 tabling organizations, the Science Museum of Minnesota and the Geological Society of Minnesota. Combine that with admissions and membership and club merch, field trips, exhibits, demonstrations, rock ID, kids activities, and we have 1 rockin' indoor venue. Here's a map of the exterior of the dairy building, and again, we'll have a large poster of both indoor and outdoor layouts at the volunteer check-in table. We have 16 outdoor vendors, 3 food trucks, and 8 picnic tables. The food truck vendors are Tom Thumb Donuts, Taqueria El Victor, and GLK Concessions. Let's talk about volunteer position timeline. Show volunteering shifts begin Friday with setup, continue during the show Saturday and Sunday, and conclude with show teardown on Monday. Our first shift of volunteers will arrive Friday. We have show setup scheduled for 2-hour shifts throughout the day, starting at 8 a.m. and finishing up around 6 p.m. Show setup volunteering includes taping indoor vendor spots, setting up tables and chairs, hanging banners, assembling pipe and drape, placing tablecloths and skirting at tables, chalking outdoor vendor spots, assembling display cases, assembling volunteer name badges, and will also include various tasks as needed. If you're around for that last shift, sometime between 5 and 6, we will have pizza delivered. We'll also have coolers of water to help us all stay hydrated. As far as volunteer positions during show hours on Saturday and Sunday, those positions are as follows: admissions, club merch, field trips, kids corner activities, which include copper detecting, fossil making, and Minnesota rock ID, membership, security ambassadors, both roving and exit doors, and volunteer sign-in. We have 1 additional position on Sunday afternoon, and that is teardown. Our final volunteer shift position is teardown and supply return on Monday morning. Volunteers will help with knocking down and stacking tables and chairs, disassembling and boxing up display cases, removing and packing signs, packing up club merchandise, removing tape from the floors, and general cleanup. We will load materials into the U-Haul and return items to storage. Now let's dive a little deeper into the volunteer position descriptions during show hours. Each of these 10 positions will have shifts on Saturday from 9:45 to 12 12 to 2, and 2 to 5 p.m. And on Sunday, from 9:45 to 12, 12 to 2, and 2 to 4 p.m. Now let's go over each position. Our admissions volunteers will welcome visitors, issue a door prize drawing entry ticket, one per family or one per single adult, issue one wristband per person. Attendees are responsible for applying their own wristbands, so if there's a family of 4, you can rip off 4 wristbands and slide those over to them. You'll also issue one show brochure per family or per single adult. And then you can direct visitors to the drawing table to fill out and deposit their entry tickets. You can explain that drawings will occur every 30 minutes on the hour and half hour, and they must be present to win the door prizes. The grand prize winner will be drawn at the end of the show, and they do not need to be present to win that prize. We are not charging admission, so no money will need to be taken at the admissions tables. We do, however, have a suggested donation of $1 for adults, but that will be their choice. We will have several donation boxes located throughout the venue, including one on each admission table. Our club merchandise volunteer position descriptions include welcoming visitors, answering questions, selling club merchandise, which includes t-shirts and logo patches and pins. We will have 1 to 2 volunteers that will watch over the door prizes, including the grand prize, answer any questions about the entry tickets. Again, explaining that the drawings will occur every 30 minutes on the hour and half hour, and that they must be present to win, and that they do not need to be present to win the grand prize only. We will have laminated instructions at the club merch table that will explain how to take a payment if it is not cash. And we have the prices for each item also listed on a tabletop sign. Our field trips table volunteers will also welcome visitors, answer any questions. They'll also describe any previous and upcoming field trips. They'll also share the field trip photo gallery that we will have running, a slideshow. They'll also share sample specimens that have been collected on field trips, as well as provide starlight samples and collection tips, which will be ready to go and handed out. Our Kids Corner has 3 different activities that you can volunteer for. For copper detecting, you'll welcome the kids, and then you'll sprinkle 2 to 3 pieces of copper into tubs of pea gravel, and mix that up. And then you'll power on the handheld pinpointing metal detector and pass that over to the child and or parent if they are helping. And then you'll allow the kids to kind of dig around in the pea gravel to find a couple of pieces of the tumbled native Michigan copper. Once they found a couple of pieces, you can provide them with a plastic bag for their finds, a copper specimen label, and a handout on copper. Our fossil making activity will include welcoming the kids, providing them a package of air dry clay. You'll have them open up their package of air dry clay and roll it into a ball. Have them select one of the 10 fossils that are available to make, and then they'll imprint that fossil into their ball of clay. Once they have that done, you can hand them a plastic bag to store their clay in. You'll want to instruct them to take out the clay once they get home so it can finish air drying. And then we also have a label for each one of the fossils, so they can choose the fossil sticker correlated with the fossil that they made. And then we also have a handout on finding fossils in the Twin Cities area. And for our Minnesota rock identification activity, again, you'll welcome the kids, and then you're going to provide each child an egg carton. It's a 6-count egg carton, and then we have pre-bagged rocks, so 6 common Minnesota rocks, and those are agate, basalt, catlinite or pipestone, granite, limestone, and a taconite pellet. You'll also provide them the top and interior carton labels, as well as a handout which has each of these rocks described and locations they can be found. If there's time and there's not a line, I would encourage you to encourage the child to try to identify a couple of the rocks by pointing out some of the characteristics. So, say agate would be easy to point out the banding, or a taconite pellet. The pellet is pretty identifiable, so those would be two easy ones. You will not be identifying rocks for individuals. These are all 6 prepackaged rocks that have very different visual features, so they should be easily identifiable. If you have anyone that comes up to you asking for rock identification, you can point them over towards the rock ID table. Our security ambassadors have 2 positions. We have 2 exit door ambassadors who will monitor the exit only door and direct attendees to the main entrance. They can answer any questions, and again, we will have a sheriff on premises during show hours, as well as a private security detail on premises during the whole show, overnight and daytime. Our roving security ambassadors will walk around the premises of the show, answer any questions, and again, contact one of the law enforcement officials if there's any serious issues. Our final volunteer position is our volunteer sign-in. Volunteer sign-in will consist of welcoming volunteers, having them sign in for their shift, issuing their name badge with lanyard, as well as a lapel pin and a patch, and that would be 1 per volunteer. Additional can be purchased if someone is looking to acquire more than 1 patch or lapel pin. You could point them towards the club merch table. You can also offer them a bottle of water. We'll have them behind the table in coolers, just 1 per volunteer. And then, as mentioned previously, we will have 2 large maps of both the inside and the outside of the dairy building. So you can point them to their work post, or if you have someone that stops by with a question looking for a specific vendor, you can point them. If it's an outdoor vendor, you can show them on the map where they can locate them. So for Q&A, one question that we've received is, what time should I arrive to volunteer? And so we ask that you please arrive 15 minutes prior to the start of your shift at the check-in table, and just in case there's any issues parking or getting over to the facility, we do ask that you arrive 15 minutes early so that you can get over to your designated area. Make sure if there's any overlap or things that need to be explained, that can happen at that time. Where should you park? We have worked with the fairgrounds to designate a volunteer parking area, and I will show you a diagram of that in just a second. So there is a designated volunteer parking lot. Parking's free, and we'll have directional signs posted. And if you have any questions, you can contact Dan Bissonette, the show chair, John Porter, president, or myself. So here's a map, again, of the inside of the facility, and we have some directional assistance here on getting you from the show entry over to the volunteer sign-in check-in desk. So you'll come in the main doors, you'll hang a right, and you'll go past all the club tables. Once you reach the end, you'll hang a left at the bathrooms, and you will run into the volunteer check-in table. This illustrates where the volunteer parking is, and so we will have signs out there that say volunteer parking only. It's located right next to the dairy building, so you will be able to get to the dairy building for your shift easily. Let's wrap up. Finally, we have our contact information here, so if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. And again, a big thank you from your show committee, and we look forward to seeing you at the show.